Today we're breaking down the Adidas Donovan Mitchell 6s. Let's go. What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Zach here, Tamsters Kicks. Donovan Mitchell with his 6th signature shoe. This is the new Adidas Don 6s. We're going to break him down today, guys. Donovan Mitchell, kind of an interesting player to me because he has so much fire potential. He's got this crazy bag, but he's got to maybe get on a different team. But Donovan Mitchell's got a cool playing style. We love watching him, I think. And, the Donovan Mitchell shoes have been pretty solid throughout the line, so we're going to break them down today, guys. If you haven't seen a video from me, we're going through the traction, the cushion, support, materials, and the fit. Breaking down all that stuff. I'll have videos of me with the shoes and just some B-roll stuff throughout. So make sure to stick around, leave a like, you know what to do. Let's get into it. When I was picking out colorways, I was not very impressed because it's basically just a lot of team colorways right now. You got a blue, a red, a white, but we went with the blues. I think it's got a nice vibrant pop to it, and yeah, these are the Don 6s. I mean, he hasn't changed a ton throughout his shoes, kind of just like a little bit of tweaks here and there with especially like the actual mold of the shoe, but these ones are actually pretty solid. I really like these ones. Retailed at $120, which is pretty, again, solid. It's kind of one of those that like set, you have like a little bit of the lower, like maybe stay away from shoes under $100. You're going upper like 180 plus, and then like you have this mid 120 to 150 range, which these fall into, and yeah, they're pretty solid for that. So let's break them down. The traction features a rubber outsole with a radial traction unit. So this radial traction unit I actually just saw with the GT Hustle 3s, and it's something that's supposed to provide a lot of just the radial pads. The part of it is like to target these zones that are really used a lot when you're moving, jumping, running, whatever. So as you can see, the pads got to come together in the middle of the heel here. The radial spirals come together here, kind of a little more lateral, but this is tended the area where a lot of players break in and break down the shoe, is this outside of the foot, kind of moving side to side and stuff like that. But it's pretty solid. I mean, the herringbone is pretty nice. Has a good bite indoors. Now, outdoors, I would not recommend it because it is pretty, not even just soft, but like, I don't think it's going to hold up very well because it's thinner. It's not super deep on the grooves, and those radial pads will cause a lot of high wear areas too. So I'd stay away from that. But like otherwise, besides that, I mean, the traction was pretty nice on the indoor court. The cushion features a dual density setup across the Don 6s. So these have light strike foam here and then a pro foam here. Not super similar, but like the Anthony Edward ones, they have this kind of light strike here and then with a light bounce with 2 pods. And these ones are a little different. They have this pro foam here, but I mean, you probably can't tell, but you can feel the density and like the squishiness that it has, which I kind of like. It was a little bit more impressive, I would say, playing in that cushion. I kind of liked how it felt with the radial pads. So you can kind of tell your weight absorbing into one spot and moving, but it's not like insane and it's not like super soft, but like it's definitely screams just like $120 basketball shoe. Like it gets the job done. It's not overpowering with what they're trying to do with the cushion and the traction setup, but it just plays good. It plays solid. It fits well on the foot, and you have a pretty decent court feel. So I did enjoy it. The materials, the Don 6 features an engineered mesh setup all across. So nothing crazy here. This engineered mesh is something we see a lot that Adidas really likes to do on different models. Dame has done it before, but it's just this kind of like interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It is pretty breathable, and they added a little bit of, you can like barely see it on the blues, but it's this 3, we'll talk about it later with the support. It's just this little bit of stripes here that help with a little more support in there. But from the materials, it's kind of interesting. They added a little bit of extra setup here. It's a little plastic piece that goes around here to kind of keep you molded in. The lacing system is also one I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not a big fan of the rounded cup entry with everything being kind of like on top, especially with the lace locks here. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like it to go more traditional, like outside and actually bring in the cage like it kind of does here at the very top of the lacing setup. But I mean, overall, the material's not my favorite. If you like the mesh setup here, you're gonna like it because it's pretty breathable, but not my favorite. The fit is true to size. It is Adidas shoe, so I wouldn't say it fits super big, but like Adidas run a little bit bigger, so be careful with that. But I mean, true to size, it should fit very well. There wasn't a ton of dead space. If anything, a little bit in this back heel part, because of the lacing setup, it keeps you so locked in here that kind of leaves you a little vulnerable here for a little bit of spacing issues, but they added a little bit of color and Achilles padding in this back part to kind of reinforce that, so not a ton of complaints there. Support features the Adidas X-Frame torsion, which is something that is pretty important, I'd say, with this radial setup and the 2 light strike pods in here with that as well. You saw with the Jordan 39s that it had a lot of flimsiness to the shoe. This, like, you're barely getting any of that, and it's only coming really from this top part. Like, you can't move the shoe very much, which is nice and not nice. With this mesh, it is flexible as you play. It's, again, not my favorite setup, but just from a support standpoint, you're gonna feel that X-frame in there. Play pretty solid. It will hold up the shoe well. Rigidity, durability will all be impacted by that, and I mean, it's pretty good for a torsion system that, I mean, basically all across the board, it is like good rankings. Like, it's a good basketball shoe. I wasn't disappointed. Some Adidas, like Trae Young's, I have not liked at all. There's been like a couple Dons here and there that I just haven't been a huge fan of, but overall, like, the actual mold and setup of this, I feel like it's one of my favorite Dons. I think it could be his best one yet. And I mean, going down the board, traction and cushion are set up solid. You have the materials, which personally not a big fan of, but if you like that engineered mesh, you'll like it because there's just a little bit of more plating and stuff in here that'll kind of help you mold, like, feel good in the shoe and not have it just be like super loose and like flimsy with the materials. Fit, solid, and then support, I've mentioned a bunch of times. You have different aspects all across the shoe, so I'm curious. What do you guys think about the Adidas Don 6s? They're pretty nice. I need different colors for sure because I'm not a big fan of the team colors where they just change up the base, but overall, for 120, they're not bad. But that's it for this video today. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what to do. We'll see you guys on the next one.